do my own shifting. So initial thoughts on the transalp. I just borrowed it for an hour. Literally been on it a minute. So as I say, I'm not a professional reviewer, as you can tell. Just an ordinary bloke having a route round and just getting to grips with the thing. The first impressions are comfy enough. Seat's a little bit low for me, 6'1". In fairness, that's not unusual. Recently rode the Suzuki, the D800, is it? And that was quite a nice bike, to be fair. I'm just looking to see if the hype is justified, to be honest. Low speed fueling seems okay. You know, going off on in third, it's it'd be unkind to call it snatchy. It's okay. So I've got it in sport mode. The bloke went through the menu with me, and my first impression is that it doesn't hit anywhere near as hard as the Suzuki, you know, from low down. I mean, if I you know, open the throttle, yeah, it's third gear, it's 30 mile an hour. It should go. It's just a little bit late to the party, to be honest. I suspect that it's going to have a little bit of a punchline higher up, but off the bottom. And I'm being honest here. I mean, just say it's not as quick as the Versailles I've got. It's unless it's tight or whatever, double check. It's in sport mode. So at 90 horsepower, it should fizz a bit. Yeah, that's better. I have to drop it into second, drop it into its power band. But if I open the throttle, you know, in third, it's not pulling any tree stumps up, that's for sure. I suspect this is going to be an engine that's going to require some revs to get the best out of it. Well, it's easy enough to turn around. I'm going to go back to towards the dealer, I think, and jump a section of the motorway. Using the quick shifter at you know, the town speed, you're better off without it. I mean, it's much smoother, you know, doing your own thing. It's going to make more sense perhaps when you get a bit more of a move on. These potholes and everything, you wouldn't call it a gentleman's tourer, that's for sure. It's not particularly plush. Yeah, the bloke told me to keep an eye on the time, and I keep it to roughly an hour. So I'm looking at all this, and honestly, I've glanced down 3 or 4 times now, and I still can't see the bloody clock. It's very fussy, very small. It's okay. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get used to it. Your eyes will automatically go in the right place, but at the moment, I find it all a little bit too small. You know, making you stare at it a little bit longer than I'd like to for the various modes, buttons, stuff. Can display can change the display apparently. So, like your phone. It's comfy enough. The seat seems quite supportive. I'm only in town, you know, doing 30 mile an hour, but the screen, although it's better than the Suzuki I tried, it's still it's right in my face. It's not maybe not going fast enough to, you know, to push it any higher, but it's certainly not what you call very protective. Probably here, it's see by the flags, it's quite a windy day, and yeah, it's not particularly great. There's not that much more shove than my little 650 up to you know, 60-70 mile an hour, but it just then it kind of hits its second wind and pulls really strong, really strong from 5,000 revs upwards. Yeah, you could probably plenty enough to get yourself into trouble with. No idea where I'm going, no idea where these go. Let's just get off the main road. See what happens on these country roads. Click on a little bit. It's got a little hooligan streak in it. Quite exhilarating. Got a quantity. I don't, you know, it's not my style of riding really, just smacking it everywhere. But it's nice to have, you know. Get a better idea in here what it's like regards handling and stuff. Suspension seems okay, you know, as I say, it's not the plushiness of the plush, but it seems to handle things okay. Let's get past this junction. The thing at the real world, you know, what I call real world speeds, you know, so doing that, you know, keeping it in the lower revs, and I'll be absolutely honest, it's got no more shove than an MT or Versailles or whatever. It's an engine really that, you know, little little bit like the Tracer 9, it wants you to go hunting, you know, nothing, 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 and then go, which is alright, but you've got to get rid of it then, haven't you? That could become a little bit tedious. So it's not flat at the bottom, but yeah, you know, can't help but think they should have moved the whole thing down a little bit, you know, down 1500 revs. It's a little bit late to the party. I mean, that's fourth, that's okay, but put it in third, you know, smack it. Just seems like it's fun. Don't be wrong, it's fun, but kind of strikes me as a little bit unnecessary. If someone asked me to, you know, say which engine I preferred the Suzuki's, because the Suzuki's just fat at the bottom. It's got way more bang from nothing really. I think that's my sort of impression with it at the moment. I can't be arsed with this, it's rubbish anyway, isn't it? I'll have a route round here. Yeah, that's my beef with it at the moment is that it encourages you perhaps to go faster than you want to go and search for the fun. It's more like the Hornet, you know. I can see the Hornet's that kind of bike where you want to be doing that all the, you know, that's the kind of bike you buy, isn't it? Sort of short wheelbase, sort of hooligan type of street fighter thing. And yeah, I just find it a little bit upside down, if you like. It's a cracking engine, but I think in the long run, they may, you know, opt to tune it a little bit differently on the Mark II. Let's see what's down here. So you put it in third now, it's nothing much, and then, yeah, there she goes. It is late to the party, but if you're a party type of guy, there's plenty of dancing in there, that's for sure. Depends on the type of rider you had on it. I mean, I've still got a pulse and all that, but really handles very neutrally. Nothing wrong with the handling. Suspension seems nice. Gearbox seems nice. She's a little bit reluctant to turn in there. You get into the edge of that skinny tyre, and so you start pushing it on tight hairpins. You know, something with the more road orientated wheel on is going to tuck in a lot more neatly. Yeah, it's funny, it's these modes that they go on about. I mean, it feels like it's got two modes without doing anything, like a rain mode up to a certain amount of revs, and then a sport mode. It kind of changes character. I've got no issue with the brakes. The brakes are nice. Very nice brakes, no trouble at all. Good feel and power. Well, let's be honest, nearly everything, new and modern now. I mean, it's hard to, perhaps the Royal Enfield in lane being an exception. It's hard to find something that doesn't brake acceptably well, in my estimation. It'll bob on a bit. It's the same thing, isn't it? Once you've had a high power bike, although it's a nice entertaining engine, it's not blowing you away. You've got to say you really don't need any more than this. In the real world there's plenty of power. Probably take quite a few off the Africa Twin. It cruises nicely on the motorway. You have to be put a different screen on it. It's okay, tough old game, isn't it, this motorcycle game, because again, they only give you an hour on it, and it hasn't grabbed hold of me by the balls and say, you've got to buy me. Yeah, it's a nice bike. I mean, if someone, twisted my arm to make a choice, I think I prefer the Suzuki out of the two. I think it's got nicer suspension, or better suspension for rough roads, I think. Massive screen problem. This is probably the better value, better road bike, if you like. But I suppose I'm the wrong person, because I'm not really asked about going over 90 mile an hour. Overall top speed is almost immaterial. I mean, the way the thing handles is brakes and stops is more important to me than the overall top speed. And it's very, very pleasant. Very pleasant in the corners. It's only that one little bend on the country lane, you could just feel it. That 21 inch, you're not wanting to turn as quickly as you might like. And but yeah, make no mistake, unless you get a wriggle on this, and you're going to stay with most things. Unless someone's prepared to push the risk limit higher than where it should be, you're going to keep up with almost anything on this. It's only the Humpty Back leather boys, that where the sap's still rising, and they're the guys that will be faster than you. but them guys tend not to be. They tend not to be very sensible. Let's be honest. You know, cornering, you know, way in excess of the distance they can stop. So is that a definition of going fast? Not really. Yeah, there's plenty of, how can you put it, good bad riders out there. I'm no riding god, but I'm not, you know, I'm not a slouch, you know. But I think I find most bikes really, once you've wound the elastic band up, you know, once you've got a certain, you know, cruising speed up, that you're pretty much limited by the corners. And then it's just a matter then of how much novelty you need by just banging the throttle open and accelerating quickly. But let's be honest, you know, once you've done that a few million times, the novelty somewhat wears off, you know. Vision here, you know, I'd probably say with this particular bike that it's stacked a little bit upside down, the engine. It's you know, if you're in third or fourth gear and you want to, you know, just roll on, it is a little bit late just to reach its chosen revs, you know, the point where it wants to play. So you're probably kicking it down a gear more so than you would on others that I've ridden. But when you do kick it down a gear, it takes off like a bleeding bat out of hell. So my point being is that, you know, do you want to be riding like that all the time? There you go, I'm going off-road now. Yeah, he's bottomed out there. Take it back. It's alright, but I think there's not a lot I don't like about it, to be honest. It's quite a pleasant bike. You know, but that isn't enough. You know, it isn't enough, is it? You know, quite a pleasant bike. I've got quite a pleasant bike, I reckon. But, and this is a tad more dynamic and, you know, a bit more exciting. And that's about it. You know, I guess I'm looking for something, again, that isn't there. I mean, this, you know, I've read, you know, a few reports and some YouTube videos and that, some test reports, and I just can't seem to think that it's particularly wonderful step forward in, technology.